So there is a term that has recently resurfaced and is often used to describe a person who embodies all of the qualities one might want in a spouse, with a heavy emphasis on the financial stability they can provide or possess. The term I'm referring to is the high value man or woman. For the sake of this discussion, we're going to highlight the high value man narrative. Now, it's been around for a while. However, the definition has evolved depending on who is using it. Today, I find it typically referring to a man whose value is determined by the market. If a man is looking good, tall, makes a lot of money, has a stable career, he's typically considered to be of high value and able to choose from many women, sort of like the cream of the crop. At the heart of feminism is the belief that every woman is equal in worth and deserving of respect. They challenge the idea that men should be in charge. Feminists believe in equal rights and opportunities for women. They see the traditional roles as social constructs, believing they are not based on natural differences, causing women to be limited and men to be in positions of privilege. They believe leadership and value should be based on individual qualities and that family roles should be flexible, shared, and built on a mutual respect and not what they call stereotypes. Feminism promotes empowering women to lead and thrive on their own terms without fitting into roles dictated by what they call outdated beliefs. You see, the problem with that thinking, along with the whole concept of high value man and the way they're displaying it today, is that the problem doesn't lie within the term as much as it is in its evolution. You see, there's nothing wrong with desiring to be with a man of high value. According to Proverbs 31:23, it says that her husband is known in the gates and that he sits among the elders of the land. Many would say that he was a high value man. However, when a term or perspective evolves over time, it's easy to lose the original intent. Today's definition becomes whatever version seems to be used at the moment. So how do we discover the true intent of this terminology? We have to look back at time, when the definition would not have fit, and consider what the replacement would have been or the understanding would have been. If we go back to my favorite period of time, the medieval era, you'll find a completely different perspective. To be of high value wasn't primarily based on position or status. It was closely linked to leadership and respect. Just as the wives of those times understood, we must also define what it looks like to be married to a man of high value today. I personally believe the modern definition of a high value man, often rooted solely in provision, merely scratches the surface. In fact, the amount of money a man possesses when you meet him has very little to do with whether or not he's truly a man of high value. How many times do we see the kind, the generous, the hardworking man overlooked because a woman's eyes are set on a man with more money and more power? It's because the narrative is fundamentally flawed. In my opinion, a high-value man possesses the following qualities. He must first love God with all of his heart, and most importantly, love God more than he loves you. He should have confidence, integrity, emotional maturity, a strong character, and a clear sense of purpose. He needs to be responsible, respectful to others, continuously working to self-improve, and maintaining healthy relationships with his family. He values himself and others, and he leads by example and strives to make a positive impact wherever he goes. He doesn't cut corners or seek shortcuts to success. Instead, he builds a strong foundation for his family that can withstand life's storms. He provides emotional support and comfort with honesty, and he's willing to correct when necessary. But are you a high-value woman? If you've listened to most of this series, you definitely have a roadmap that can lead to Christ's answer for your life. But going back to the medieval days, I believe the value of queens of that time extended far beyond beauty or being arm candy. In many cases, she was the hands, the feet, and sometimes the mouth of her husband, the king. During the summer, they planned send-offs for the king and his men as they traveled, sometimes into war. You see, the summer was a time of movement because of the good weather, not vacationing and just laying out in the sun. And since there were no planes or fast trains, they traveled by sea and land, often lasting days or even years. Many queens would pray they would see their king again, knowing the dangers each trip entailed. They didn't have the luxury of simply being princesses when they wore the crown of the queen. Neither do you. I believe every man has the potential to be high valued, starting with how he prioritizes Christ, followed by his choice of a mate and the well-being of his family. Whether a man is wealthy or facing hard times, his true value doesn't depend on bank account numbers or material possessions. Just like medieval kings, today's men will face storms and damaging blows from time to time. And as a high-value woman, you need to discern when your man needs spiritual and emotional support and communicate effectively when you need it yourself. You must know how to cover your household in prayer during these challenging times, and how to point your man back to Christ when he's distracted. You see, being high value is all about where you place your priorities. Recognize what is truly valuable. That's God's word, your personal character and integrity. And take steps towards continuing this journey towards detoxing feminism.